Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. At DC TechNet, we strive to do something different and share our knowledge with everyone. And on this note, let's see what we have today. Today we are going to discuss on FSMO Transfer and FSMO Seizing. So first and foremost, we will see what is FSMO transfer, when to transfer and why to transfer, and we'll see what is FSMO seizing, when to seize and why to seize any FSMO role. So FSMO transfer. So what is FSMO transfer? So the process of migrating any FSMO role from one domain controller to any other domain controller is called transferring FSMO role, or simply FSMO transfer. So it's a migration. So there are two ways in which we can perform FSMO transfers: the graphical user interface or the GUI way, and the command line interface or the CLI method. But again, there are some prerequisites to transfer FSMO role. Definitely, we are not talking about the permissions to the user. Definitely, the user must be the member of the domain admins group. But the second prerequisite is both the source domain controller and the target domain controller should be up and running, and they should be able to communicate with each other. So both source and the target should be up and running, and they should be able to talk with each other to perform FSMO transfer. So again, ways to transfer: graphical user interface. So if you want to transfer domain-wide roles, we will transfer them using Active Directory, users and computers management console. If you want to transfer the schema master FSMO role, we need to register the schema management DLL, that is SCHM mgmt.dll, and then we can add the schema snap-in in our Microsoft Management Console and then transfer the role. This is again an interview question. And last but not the least, if you want to transfer domain naming master, we need to transfer it using Active Directory Domains and Trusts Management Console. So this is the GUI way of transferring FSMO roles. So for command line interface, we just have one tool or utility, that is ntds util, to transfer all the 5 roles. Now we can perform FSMO transfer from any domain controller in the domain. It is not necessary to log on to the source domain controller or the target domain controller to perform the transfer. Let us understand this statement with an example. Let's say we have a domain name contoso.com and we have say 4 domain controllers: Denver DC, Tokyo DC, London DC and Dubai DC. And Denver DC is our RID master. Now our task is to transfer RID master from Denver DC to Dubai DC. So it is not necessary to log on to Denver DC to perform this task, or to Dubai DC to perform this transfer. You can also perform this task logging on to London DC or even logging on to Tokyo DC. So we can perform FSMO transfer from any domain controller in the domain. It is not necessary to log on to the source domain controller or the target domain controller to perform any FSMO transfer. So when to perform FSMO transfer? So the domain controller that is say currently holds the FSMO role is being taken offline for some scheduled maintenance. Let's say I want to increase say RAM or say hard drive space. I want to add any new say disk to this domain controller. I'll be taking it offline and then doing the maintenance task. So it's always recommended to transfer the role and then perform any maintenance say task. So we will demote a domain controller which is holding an FSMO role. So if we want to demote a domain controller which is holding an FSMO role, definitely in such cases, first we will transfer the FSMO role or roles on that domain controller and then we will gracefully demote that particular domain controller. So when we upgrade the operating system of any current FSMO role holder, definitely we will say transfer the FSMO role and then we will perform operating system upgrade. So these are some of the say answers to when to transfer FSMO role. So this such type of questions may be asked in the interview as well. So how to transfer FSMO role? So in say this session we won't be covering up how to transfer. We have a dedicated video on FSMO transfers and this is a deep dive video on FSMO transfer. It's almost a 25 minutes video and these are the things which we have covered in this video. And there is also a demo on FSMO transfer using graphical user interface as well as the command line interface. Now let us move on to FSMO seizing. So first we'll understand the term seizing. So seizing means grabbing, snatching, or to capture something, or grasp something. So the process of designating the FSMO role from a non-operational role holder domain controller to any other domain controller is called as FSMO seizing. Let's take an example to understand FSMO seizing in a better way. Let's say we have two domain controllers, DC1, DC2, and DC1 is our RID master, and for some reason DC1 went down, it's non-operational, say the hard drive goes bad or there's some corruption in the operating system or the motherboard say goes off something and it's non-operational now. Now we won't be able to perform a transfer of RID master from DC1 to DC2 because the prerequisite to transfer FSMO role is both the source and the destination should be up and running. But in this case, DC1 is absolutely down now. It's non-operational. So in this case, we will perform FSMO seizing. So what we'll do, we'll just seize FSMO role and say make DC2 as our RID master. So this is not transferring, this is seizing FSMO role. And after performing FSMO seizing, we need to perform another task, and the task is Active Directory metadata cleanup and erase the traces of DC1 from our existing Active Directory database. So DC1 is no more present physically on the network, but it is logically present in Active Directory. So this Active Directory metadata cleanup will logically remove all the traces of DC1 from Active Directory, including DNS as well. So we need to erase the traces of DC1 using Active Directory metadata cleanup. So when to seize FSMO role? The current role holder is non-operational or it's dead for any reason, hardware failure, OS corruption for any reason, and cannot be recovered from the backup. The current role holder is experiencing an operational error that prevents an FSMO dependent operation, say, from completing successfully. Now in this case, the domain controller is up and running, okay, but it's not able to perform the FSMO dependent operations. So for example, if it's a RID master, it's not able to say distribute RIDs to other domain controllers. So in such condition, we'll turn off this domain controller and then we'll seize the role, because we cannot transfer the role. Okay, so in such conditions we will perform FSMO seizing. Next, how to seize FSMO role. Again, there is only one way to seize, that is using NTDS util utility. So if you want to know more about FSMO seizing on how to seize, so we have a 30 minutes video on FSMO seizing and Active Directory metadata cleanup. So I would highly recommend you to watch the complete video. And these are the contents of the video. We have two labs, one lab on FSMO seizing and another lab on Active Directory metadata cleanup. So in that video we have performed FSMO seizing and metadata cleanup. So thank you for joining today's session. Hope you have enjoyed it and learned something new. If you feel this channel is helping you to learn anything new, do like, share and subscribe to the channel, and have a wonderful day.